So where we last left off, we see Darkhawk suspended in the middle of the room. Rhodey asks if there's a person within the armor, and what exactly are they doing to him. Dugan explains that they're keeping his mind within a virtual reality simulator to prevent him from going berserk. Rhodey remembers seeing this guy in the news once. For some reason, this incarnation of Darkhawk looks a lot like Ava Unit 3 from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Later, Rhodes, Mannings, and Dugan leaves the room, not before Rhodey being creeped out by the psychotic Darkhawk. We cut to Nick Fury's office, and the first thing we see is a cameo of Captain America with Fury in an old wartime pic. They are talking about this other person that would help out for the team, Joseph's. And that Joseph is at the gym. Rhodey finds Joseph in the changing room area. He opens the door without asking if it's okay. Then it turns out Joseph is a chick, and Joseph asks, "Hey Rhodey, can you close the damn door from the outside, you pervert?" Okay, this is actually one of my favorite scenes for obvious reasons. Anyway, Rhodey finally gets his team together so they can kick some AIM terrorists' ass. But Rhodey's is still thinking about Joseph's sweet booty, while explaining each function of the armor. Mannings presses one of the buttons on the armor, which led him to be flown up to the ceiling and lands back down. Okay, that was kind of funny in a dumbass type of way, but anyway, there's a briefing about the mission, and it turns out that AIM's headquarters is located within Latveria, which in the main 616 universe is ruled by Victor Von Doom. However, the interesting part is that Dr. Doom, or Doom in this version, doesn't even know anything about AIM themselves, or is even connected with them at all. So the crew gets prepared for the big mission. After the meeting, Rhodey is sitting in his room listening to the damn radio. Hearing that, Tony Stark announces that he will bring the aimed scientist killer to justice, and the person who stole the War Machine armor. Tony, you try to save people's lives from a bunch of terrorists, you jackass. Then Parnell shows up and annoys the living hell out of Rhodey with his ghetto Black Lives Matter rantings. Rhodey is like, "Bro, get the hell out of my room." We cut to everyone gearing up for the big rescue commando mission, and Parnell still acting like a jackass and a racist to everyone else's annoyance. But luckily, Rhodey tells him to shut the fuck up. So the mission begins. Everyone makes it to the base of AIM. Nathan gets shot in the chest out of nowhere, and the armor becomes immobile. Because, get this! Apparently, Nathan Mannings, while working on the armor, decided to put the power cell in front of the center of the armor, which gives the armor movement and it's its energy source. That was kind of a dumb move, man. That's not even more dumber than M. Night Shyamalan's twist. Oh, I'm sorry. What a twist! The AIM had set up an ambush for our heroes. The team finds Parnell's wife being held within the base, who's quite pregnant in this, and tries to escort her out of the area safely. However, the mission goes horribly wrong, and it ends with the U.S. War Machine retreating the first time ever, and thus, the mission fails. They failed the mission, obviously, to rescue Glenda Jacobs, aka Parnell's wife. Jora, the Hispanic guy, gets killed in battle, and Sabaru Saki loses an arm during this whole fiasco. After the mission, we cut to Rhodey being pissed off with Mannings for the shitty armor design and for acting like a dick to his co-workers and for stealing Nick Fury's eye patch. And tells him, if you're going to act like a big boy, you're playing in an adult field or something like that. Yeah, you tell him, Rhodey. Then we cut to everyone coping with their post-mission depression and their losses. Later, Fury calls in Rhodey into the lab and shows, to his surprise, MODOK again, who looks a lot more badass than the main 616 version of him. Instead of a baby face head, he has a freaking skull and is a lot more threatening and scarier looking. It turns out that MODOK was an AIM member that was experimented on and later betrayed by his own group. Wow, talk about bastards. Anyway, Nick Fury decides to use him for the US War Machine. Rhodey is like, what the fuck is going on in my life? This shit is just getting weirder. I obviously can't blame you, bro. We cut to the interrogation room, where Rhodey's group is talking with one of the AIM members and learns that AIM themselves have been creating viruses that would kill every non-white person on the face of the earth. Rhodey decides to recruit one last person to the team, Ava Unit 3, Darkhawk. It was apparently difficult to do so at first, with, Darkhawk being batshit crazy. But luckily, Jim Rhodes and Josephs managed to have him join the team. It was explained that Darkhawk's technology is apparently alien-based. Later, Rhodey's team decides to contact Dr. Doom, or Doom, obviously, whose face is hidden within a dark silhouette, and asks permission if it's okay to go to his homeland to take out the terrorists. Doom agrees under certain conditions, and believing that War Machine Jim Rhodes is Tony Stark. After that, our heroes arrives at the headquarters of AIM, to kick ass and take names. We cut to Tony Stark having a public hearing about the person within the War Machine armor during the little incident. However, during the public event, someone within the audience brought a gun and tried to assassinate Tony Stark for being a so-called racist. Luckily, two of Tony's guards were in Iron Man suits and they protected him. And one of them managed to find the assassin and break the guy's hand, like Lenny of Mice and Men, what he did to freaking Curly. However, this causes even more panic. Then Tony acts very ungrateful to his employees about what happened. Even though they were trying to protect him from being killed, Tony suggests that he should have put Eddie, the other employee, into the armor instead of Hogan, because he was the same color as the assassin. Eddie responded, "Oh, hell no, I would have done the same thing as Hogan did." Tony leaves into his car saying that he needs a fucking drink. "Yeah, Tony, go home and drink yourself to death, you ungrateful bastard." Back with Rhodey's team, we see them wrecking AIM shit up in their main base, and Dun Dun Dugan says one of the most hilariously awesome lines in this entire comic before killing a few of the terrorists. "I'm going to feed your balls to starving dogs." Pure cheesy, but badass at the same time. Parmail is seen getting his ass kicked by a huge robot. Luckily, Mannings takes down the robot, saving Parmail when asking him if he and him are bros. Parmail's a bit confused about the attitude change from Mannings. Mannings explains that he's actually a pretty decent dude and a Christian and obviously want to be friends with Parmail despite acting like a jerk-ass earlier, which is kind of heartwarming. But unfortunately, he gets shot through the head by a random AIM sniper and dies. So Parmail goes all Rambo on the rest of the guards' asses. Rhodey finds the head of AIM, who has Parmail's wife, Glenda, being held hostage at gunpoint. Alive and well, surprisingly. Both of them start talking to each other about eugenics and the true goal of AIM in order to buy some time. Luckily, the rest of Rhodey's team comes in and ambushes and takes down the rest of AIM's soldiers and rescues the other hostages within the base. And Parmail reunites with his wife And that's the end of the story. The end. But wait! Dr. Doom, who in this version looks like he's wearing knight armor with his, famous trademark cape and hoodie, shows up with his men to kill Rhodey's team. During the last parts of this entire miniseries, Rhodey blasts Doom's men and tells everyone to get the hell out of here and stand back while he holds them off. However, Doom uses his psychic powers to hold him in place and is about to stab Rhodey in the eye with a fucking screwdriver. Luckily, Darkhawk and MODOK try to stop Doom. However, both of them get curb stomped by him easily by his overpowered ass. Luckily, Rhodey gets his helmet back on and continues to fight Doom. Then Joseph's managed to convince Doom to spare Rhodey's life due to his code of honor for helping ridding his land of AIM. Doom agrees and demands that they never return to his homeland and to take Darkhawk and Manning's dead bodies, and leave the leader of AIM to Doom, who he decides to crucify the motherfucker. Yeah, don't mess with Dr. Doom. He means business. Everyone boards the helicopter back home and surprise, Darkhawk's healing factor regenerates his head and Darkhawk apparently comes back to life and says, "No anchovies," and passes out. Everyone be like, the fuck? So our story ends with a bittersweet note, with the day being saved at the cost of many innocent lives and great allies. Oh, and Tony is still mad at Rhodey and is planning revenge on him with his own team, and that will be in a later story, which sucks. And that's U.S. War Machine.
So, what are my overall thoughts on U.S. War Machine? Well, this comic doesn't suck. It's actually a pretty decent story. It shows that, hell, even someone as controversial as Chuck Austen can actually write pretty good stories. Hell, he's even written a pretty good run on Exiles, but that's for another story. Anyway, the artwork is really good, really well detailed for the most part, although in the later issues they use shell-shaded-esque artwork and stuff, and while it doesn't take away from the experience, it is kind of a bit jarring how the first several issues are in traditional pencil, but hey, and also although if I had a problem with the artwork, it's that it was in black and white. But hey, they were trying to do a manga-esque art style, so I guess it worked for what it was. Also, the story was pretty decent, and a lot of character interactions with the team. And also, this is like how freaking Frank Miller, how he took Batman when he wrote The Dark Knight Returns and made Batman awesome again. Well, with this case, Chuck Austen actually made Rhodey into a pure badass. It's more so than usual. Instead of being a typical sidekick to Iron Man as he's just basically a black Iron Man. Well, that's not exactly true. Or like how Garth Ennis took Punisher and made him quote-unquote more awesome again. Although that is debatable. Overall, if I had to give my final score on this comic, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. A 7 at best, an 8 at worst. Granted, it's not the best story in the world, and yes, it does have its problems, but hey, it's still one of the better Marvel Max stories, and it's hell of a lot better than the sequel to this. Well, this is SSSK125 here, and I say this comic gets my approval stamp. And also, you can get this really cheap on Amazon.com. Anyway, I'm signing out. Have a good one.